Hey everyone, today we're going to check out some of the great deals that you can pick up this weekend for your Nintendo Switch, and because I know many of us are still recovering from the massive sale that just ended, we'll focus on games under $5 to keep everything budget friendly as we look for a few hidden gems. Thanks as always for hanging out, and if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button for us, and if you're new here, welcome to the crew. Hopefully we can earn a subscription today. With all that said, let's dive in. Stay safe out there. Alright, we'll start today with A Place for the Unwilling, which is a single-player RPG that tells a dark story and gives players different narrative paths they can take during the final 21 days before the entire city is covered in darkness, and these decisions will affect the eventual outcome at the end of the game. It has a download around 725 megabytes and should take players roughly 10 to 15 hours to wrap up. Now the game has a ton of replay value as each playthrough changes a bit with over 100 unique events that can happen at random, and it also offers character customization at the start as well. It's played from an isometric view and the graphical style is pretty cool, and right now you can pick it up for just $1.99, marked down nearly 90% to a brand new low, and the deal ends on the 17th. Don't Starve Together is the multiplayer version of the standard survival game. It is a standalone product and doesn't require you to have the single player version, so you won't have to worry about buying two games or if you have the right version installed already. You start off in a randomized world and from there you just start collecting items to build your first tools and find food that you can eat in order to stay alive as each day comes to an end and the night approaches. Now, the game will run better on almost any other platform, however, if you're looking for a way to play on the go or perhaps the Switch is your only option, it definitely runs well enough to have some fun online, and right now it's marked down all the way to just $1.99, so for less than a drink at the store you can hop in and join some friends. Now you will have to be quick though, the deal does end on the 4th of May. Up next we have Earth Wars, which is a single-player side-scrolling hack-and-slash game here on the Switch, and it offers character customization at the start of each playthrough, featuring gorgeous graphics, smooth gameplay with tight controls, and a cinematic style of storytelling that feels way more impressive than it should be at this price point. The game itself is surprisingly deep as well, with skill trees and upgrades that you can unlock, giving the game a ton of variety to how you play through for each run. On top of that, there's side quests and main story missions that you'll be taking on, and this is a hidden gem in my opinion, right now on sale for just $1.99, marked down 56% until the 9th of May. Again, a brand new low, but you will need 2 gigs for the install. ANIMUS Harbinger is a single-player action RPG with an over-the-shoulder view, offering players dozens of hours of gameplay with an intense stamina-based combat system, and the download comes in at around 2 gigs. Now this is the second game in the series, and with this one they removed a lot of the grinding and streamlined many of the gameplay mechanics. It's a Souls-like boss rush for the most part. There are some minor enemies, but it's all about the bosses and learning what gear and stats are best for your playstyle. It's definitely a tough game, but if you're up for it, right now it's on sale for just $2.15, marked down to a new low, and the deal ends on the 12th of May. Up next we have Collapsed, which is a single-player action platformer with fast-paced action and intense combat. It has a download around 3.1 gigs and should give players roughly 15 hours of gameplay on average. Now the game is a roguelike by design with a pretty solid progression system in place, and it utilizes a twin-stick control layout, so keep that in mind if you're interested in picking it up. It runs great on the Switch, and right now it's on sale for just $2.25, marked down 85% to a brand new low, and the deal ends on May 9th. Next we have Habroxia 2, which is a single-player side-scrolling shoot-'em-up with a download around 240 megabytes, and while the game can be completed in just 3 or 4 hours, it does offer plenty of replay value and variety to the gameplay, enough to keep you coming back for more. The game of course can be challenging at times, but it's also fair to the player, and it gives you plenty of power-ups and even permanent upgrades that can make the game much easier the more you play. It offers 18 different levels and does have a New Game Plus mode, and even a boss rush mode as well. It's a solid pickup for fans of the genre, or even for those that are curious to try retro-inspired shooters, and right now it's just $2.49, marked down 75% until the 4th. A Juggler's Tale is a single-player puzzle platformer where we play as a young protagonist named Abby, and we have to work our way through this medieval fairy tale-like story, which should take roughly 2 or 3 hours to wrap up. Now the unique feature here is that we basically not only have to avoid hazards in the environment, and work through the puzzles of course, but we're also fighting with the puppeteer who's controlling our strings. You can find some pretty creative ways to use your strings as well though, and while some of the animations are a bit sluggish, overall it's a pretty solid game and worth checking out while on sale. Right now you can pick it up for just $3.59, marked down 80% to a brand new low, and the deal ends on the 10th. Darkwater Slime Invader is a single-player action platformer with a download around 1.3 gigs and should offer roughly 3 to 5 hours of gameplay on average. Now the art design is beautiful and it has that unique water paint type of look to it. On top of that, the movement and controls feel great and the combat is definitely satisfying. In this one we play as a family duo with the grandma having her own special abilities as well as the younger granddaughter, but both can be combined as well to clear obstacles that might end up in your way. On top of that, the game has an all-original soundtrack that was outstanding as well, and right now it's on sale for just $4.04, again a new low, and the deal ends on the 12th of May. Hey everyone, real quick, QubicGames is doing their annual anniversary sale, and this year you can qualify for over 50 games for 19 cents each. Now you will have to purchase one of these games that you see on screen now, but if you do, a huge selection of their games will drop in price big time. Now this isn't a sponsored video, some of these games probably aren't even worth it at the sale price. However, some are pretty solid pickups and I'll have an entire list at the end for those that are interested. And if you see this symbol at the bottom corner during one of the games that we're highlighting, that means it's part of the sale, but I still want to include the normal sale price for those that don't qualify or would prefer not to take part in this or have to buy one game to get another. Anyway, let's get back to the list. Next up we have Aspire Ina's Tale, which is a single player puzzle platformer with a download around 1.9 gigs and a main story that, while short, is very impactful and will last roughly 2 or 3 hours to wrap up. The visuals and sound design are top notch and the world is immersive, and the short bit of narrative given is just enough to keep you intrigued and curious about what's to come. The puzzles can be a bit challenging at times, but overall it's a very peaceful experience, and right now it's on sale for just $1.99, matching an all-time low until the 17th. Bot Vice is an incredibly difficult gallery shooter here on the Switch. It has a download around 170 megabytes and offers roughly 5 to 10 hours of gameplay. Again, this one does not hold your hand at all though, it just sort of throws everything at you right away after a short demo, and from there you just practice until you get better. The graphics and controls are both great, and you do have a few different weapon upgrades that you'll acquire while playing through each level that will give you a bit more of an advantage, but for the most part you're always outnumbered and dodging enemies both melee and ranged until you reach the boss of each stage. If the game is just too hard though, there is a rookie mode, and if you haven't played this one, this is a must buy. Went on sale for just $1.99. Right now it's marked down 80% until the 10th. Giana Sisters Twisted Dreams Owltimate Edition is a single-player side-scrolling platformer with a download around 1.3 gigs, and it gives players 45 different levels to work through, which should take roughly 5 to 10 hours, depending on what difficulty you put it on and your previous skill level coming into the game. It features a pretty cool 2-character mechanic where you have the two sisters and you can swap between them with just pushing a button. Doing so will alter the world around you and change the music, and each sister has a unique ability that you'll need to solve puzzles or to get through the different levels. On top of that, there are bonus collectibles and unlockables as well, and right now you can pick it up for just $1.99, matching an all-time low, and the deal ends on the 4th. Up next we have Splatter Zombiecalypse Now, which is a top-down arcade-style twin-stick shooter with a download around 500 megabytes, and it offers local co-op for up to 4 players, and it should take roughly 4 or 5 hours to get through the main campaign, but there are secrets and other things to be found for those that want to explore each level. The story is told through unique cutscenes and it's fully voice acted as well. Now as far as the gameplay, it's a lot of fun, and there are some pretty cool boss battles where you can use the environment to your advantage, and it all looks great and runs well here on the Switch. Right now you can pick it up for just $1.99, marked down 75% until the 17th. What Lies in the Multiverse is a unique single-player puzzle platformer with a download around 480 megabytes and a main story that will last roughly 8 to 10 hours to finish up. Now the main feature with this one is that you can change between realms with the push of a button, and you'll need to use this ability to solve puzzles and make your way through the story. The dialogue is comedic, and again, this is a game I would highly recommend checking out while on sale. Right now you can pick it up for just $1.99, marked down 87% and matching an all-time low until the 17th. SpeedRunners is a competitive party-style platform racer that has 4-player action in both local and online multiplayer. You race versus other people or bots on different courses that have all kinds of obstacles and hazards to avoid, and in addition, there'll be weapons that you can pick up and use against one another to make things even more chaotic. On top of that, every now and then the screen will shrink down in size, so you'll have to make sure you move quick and don't fall behind. The game has a download around 600 megabytes, and this is a great option this weekend. Right now it's just $374, marked down 75% and matching an all-time low until the 10th. Crypt of the Necrodancer, the Nintendo Switch edition, is a rhythm-based dungeon crawler, again offering local co-op for 2 players, and it has a download around 1.8 gigs. Now the story offers more than 25 hours of gameplay on average, making it a great value. It is a tough game though, where you'll have to move to the beat of the background music and time your attacks to the patterns of the enemies at the same time. It is a really complex game and surprisingly addictive once you get into it, but you will probably rage quit a few times. Right now it's on sale for just $3.99 with a discount of 80% until the 14th. Yoku's Island Express is a single-player 2D puzzle platformer with a download around 1.4 gigs and a main story that will last roughly 8 to 10 hours to wrap up. Now in this one we assume the role of the island's new postmaster, and we have to deliver mail to everyone before time runs out. Now the only problem here is that most of the island is inhabited by scary monsters or some kind of obstacle you have to overcome, and the game blends classic platforming adventure that we love with unique pinball mechanics, which is a lot of fun. Right now it's on sale for just $3.99, marked down 80% and matching a previous low until the 6th. Ganryu 2 is a single-player retro-inspired 2D action platformer with a download just under 700 megabytes, and it offers about 5 hours of gameplay. Now the game is pretty difficult, so you may get more than that, so just keep that in mind. This is a sequel to a game that was released back in the late 90s and follows the main protagonist on his quest to overcome an old enemy. Now the hack and slash nature of the combat is fun, but again this is an incredibly difficult, like old school retro style difficult game, so keep that in mind if you plan to pick it up. Right now it's back on sale, matching a previous low of just $4.99 until the 7th of May. Next we have Mark of the Ninja Remastered, which is a single-player stealth action game with a 2D graphical design and a really cool stealth cover system that allows you to either play more loose or go in like a madman if you want and really take advantage of the shadows and ambush your opponents. Now the game has a download around 3.6 gigs and again offers more than 10 hours of main story gameplay. This version includes all of the DLC, and right now it's on sale for just $4.99, marked down 75% and again matching an all-time low, again to the 4th. Up next we have Ori and the Blind Forest, the definitive edition, which is one of the most gorgeous games here on the Switch and may have one of the absolute best soundtracks as well. It's an amazing action platformer with a download around 3.5 gigs and offers a story that should last roughly 10 to 15 hours to wrap up. Now the game is definitely emotional as well and sees players having to save the forest from an evil darkness that is seeping in. It controls great, the combat is amazing, and if you still haven't played this one, now is a great time to jump in. It's back on sale and matching an all-time low of just $4.99, but you'll need to hurry, the deal ends on Monday at midnight. Minute of Islands is a single-player 2D puzzle platformer with a roughly 2 gig download and a main story that will last roughly 5 to 6 hours to wrap up. Now in this one we play as a young tinkerer named Mo, equipped with a magical Omni Switch, and you'll need this to solve puzzles and work your way through the story. Now the story itself is presented as an internal narration from the main character, and the game is very friendly to new gamers or younger gamers, as most of the puzzles are pretty simple and your Omni Switch can also guide you in the right direction if you happen to get lost. The game has a gorgeous art style and runs well on the Switch, and right now it's on sale for just $3.99, marked down 80% to a brand new low, and the deal ends on the 10th of May. Up next we have Void Scrappers, which is another indie title that's aiming to recapture the magic of Vampire Survivors, and this time they've added a sci-fi twist into it. The game has a download around 350 megabytes and you can expect dozens of hours of gameplay, as these can be pretty addictive. Now with this one you get 12 playable characters, and overall it feels much faster than most games in the genre, and the pilots you can pick between also have different weapons and starter abilities, so you'll want to find your favorite as you work to unlock all of the extras that are available in the game. Right now you can pick up Void Scrappers for just $3.19, marked down 20% until the 3rd of May. Narita Boy is a single-player strategy adventure game with a download just over 900 megabytes, and it offers roughly 7 to 8 hours of main story gameplay. Now, it takes place in the 80s, and the story is incredibly deep. It deals with some heavy issues, but in a unique way. When you combine that with the graphics, it makes for a very strange and one-of-a-kind experience. Now, the platforming and controls feel great, and there's a surprising amount of action as well, plus you get new skills and unlockables along the way too. And if you're interested in Narita Boy, be sure to pick it up before the sale ends on May 6th. Right now it's on sale for just $4.99, again a new low and finally under $5. Alright everybody, here are a few other games to check out while you're already on the eShop. Alright everybody, thank you all so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video or you like the Switch, we have plenty more content on the channel. Feel free to check it out.